Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just want to welcome everybody back to our second team talk. If you are missing some of the very beginning of this, it is recorded and it will stay on this CA Foundations page, so you can always go back and kind of look at it. First of all, I just want to start off and say thank you to everybody that attended Focus OKC this year. It was really good connecting with each and every one of you. There was quite a bit of CAs that did attend this last Focus OKC. And for those of you that were not able to attend, I really encourage you to join us next year. It will be July the 24th and 25th of 2026. And like I said, I just encourage y'all to come. It's really good for the CAs as just as much as it is for the doctors. So just please join us in the future. It's an outstanding seminar, has tremendous value. You just get a lot out of it. It's a lot different than the workshops. It's great speakers nationwide, some of your top speakers probably that you've never even heard before. So I do encourage you to join us next year for Focus OKC. I'm going to go ahead and start these off before I get into our topic. I did get quite a bit of questions from the last team talk. I will, if you do text me or email questions, I will get to you right away with those questions, but I'm also going to share them before I get into my topic. Then, just because there are some CAs out there that could have the same questions and just maybe just a little timid to ask. So I'm going to go ahead and share the questions that I got from the last team talk, and I'm going to answer those for you before we get started. So one of the first questions I had was, how does your office deal with patients being late? As also, how do you deal with your walk-ins? So when patients are late to their appointment, honestly, we don't even know. There is a lot of times throughout the day we don't even know what time it is. We're so busy just keeping the flow of the patients. We get patients back as they walk in the door. So our new patients, and if you are concerned about new patients, like you feel like they're waiting a little bit longer, they did have this appointment time, those new patients, they don't quite understand how our office flows yet and how we run things, to where our existing patients, we already have them trained. So we will get those new patients in. As they come in, they fill out the paperwork, and then our other patients that come in, we just get them in within the flow. So the new patients don't really know, if they're being skipped, or this patient was scheduled at this time, or I was scheduled at the same time. So it's like everybody is kind of trained, and we don't stress out about the late. Like, I have probably 100 people on the schedule from 9:30 to 12:30. So you just kind of get those patients in as they walk in the door. Walk-ins, it's the same thing. We fit them in with our scheduled patients just as they come in. The next question was, do you guys have more than one provider at a time to get patients in and out quicker? Yes, we have two doctors in our office, Dr. Young and Dr. Turbeville. The doctors do have their certain patients that they see. Now, a lot of times, Dr. Young's volume is a little bit more than Dr. Turbeville's volume is. So, and Dr. Young's just not here, Monday through Friday like Dr. Turbeville is. Dr. Young's just here the Monday through Wednesday. So we do have quite a bit of our patients. We will kind of put it out there, hey, if you are in a hurry, Dr. Turbeville doesn't have anybody waiting right now. We can get you in with him. And patients will start seeing the other doctor. But honestly, we encourage that. We do want the patients to be able to see both doctors, just like I said, because Dr. Turbeville, he is available more days of the week than Dr. Young is. So we do encourage that, and having two doctors in the office does really help with the wait time. The next question, do you charge patients who has missed their scheduled appointments? We do not charge patients for missed appointments. We want patients to know that we are flexible with time. We do understand, your schedule is busy, some things come up. We don't want our practice to be ran like a medical office, to where when you walk in, the very first thing you see is there's a $25 or $50 charge for each missed appointment. It just kind of puts a bad vibe. I feel like to patients, it's just, we just don't want to run our office like that. We let them know that we're flexible with their time, but we do encourage them to stick with their scheduled appointments. So we do not, now if y'all do have a set policy that you do charge for missed appointments, just make sure that you really stick with that, and you're just not charging, oh, maybe this person over here missed theirs, so I'm going to charge them, but oh, this is kind of like my favorite patient, I don't want to charge them, because the word will get out, and it's just not good on the office. So if you do have something set in stone with that, I just suggest that you keep with it. That's something that's completely up to the doctor in your office, and you'll just have to set that policy in place. We really like, so the CA was saying that they really like the way we do the new patient follow-up. So if you missed it, at the end of the day, each new patient that comes in for the day, I write down Dr. Turbeville's patients and I write down Dr. Young's patients with their phone numbers and the person that referred them in. I also write out a referral card with their address, and the doctor will kind of send them a little note like, thank you so much for your trust, thank you for referring to us. But they wanted to know, how do the doctors, what's the verbiage? What exactly does the doctor say when the doctor calls that patient? So really what they do is they call and check on the patient and see how they're doing after the first adjustment. They let the patient know, it was really nice to meet you today. I'm really glad you came in. We are going to help you. I just kind of want to see how you did after that first adjustment. I do want you to know that I am still studying your x-rays. I am really going to study those, and we're going to go over those in detail with a plan tomorrow. So they're really just, and it's something that's really short, sweet, just kind of like a follow-up. But the patients really like that. You really don't get that a lot from a doctor or any other doctor's offices. So that has been very beneficial for us here in the office. There was a question this morning on the CA Facebook page, and somebody had asked, how often do you update your paperwork? And like, do you do it every year, or how do we handle that? When it comes to paperwork, like say a patient hasn't been in a year or so, or even 6 months, instead of making them fill out a full thing of paperwork, patients, they don't like filling out paperwork. They just, want to come in, get adjusted, do that whole thing. So what I typically do is ask the patient when they come in, say it's been a year, I just ask them, hey, are there any changes in your insurance? I will get a copy of the insurance card, because a lot of times they think that there's not a change in the insurance, but it is still good just to re-verify their benefits for them. And a lot of times the group number changes, just stuff like that. So I will get a copy of their insurance card, but I ask them if they have if they've moved or if anything's changed in their profile. And if they tell me no, I still verify their address with them, do all of that, but I'll just have them fill out our complaint form, and I will do an exam form with it, and we will get them back into the x-ray room. So that complaint form is really not like complaints that they have about us. It's what is bothering them and why haven't they been in 6 months. And so they'll kind of fill that out, and then we'll take them in the exam room, just kind of like a new patient, or kind of like how we treat new patients. And then there's a lot of times the doctor does want updated x-rays. They will have to be on a new treatment plan. So we do that, but having them fill out full-blown paperwork, we typically don't do that. Now, if they're not in my new system and they're in my old system, of course, I will have them fill out. Or if they say, yes, I actually did move, well, I'll have them fill out the paperwork. So I hope I answered that, like kind of like you wanted me to. So I'm going to kind of move on with the topic of our team talk this week. So clarity and confidence, communicating insurance and financial plans with ease. So when it comes to talking about insurance and financial plans, insurance can be a pretty tricky topic, especially when there are a lot of us that are in different states. We have different insurance laws in different states. So we just really need to make, and two, a lot of times, like if y'all are in a different state, I'm going to have a hard time answering your insurance questions. It would really be good for you to kind of connect with other doctors and CAs that are part of our group. And maybe you can ask them just about like different CPT codes, just kind of like different diagnosis codes, just different things that y'all bill. It would kind of be good to like talk to somebody that is within the group, like within your state. So when it comes to insurance and financials, this conversation will make and break your patient's trust. So you want to be ready for their questions. You want to be confident, and you want to make sure that you and the patient are on the same page. We don't want them leaving with any confusion, with any questions. We want to make sure that they get those questions answered. Just make sure that you really understand the insurance before you go over it with the patient. And especially when it comes to new staff, say you're training a new staff, that I know when I started with Doc many years ago, I knew nothing about chiropractic. I knew nothing about insurance, and like just with deductibles and co-insurance and trying to understand all of that. It is important, especially if you're going to have that staff going over financial and insurance, that they really do understand it. And kind of how I train with insurance is I call it the insurance bucket analogy. And really what that is you have to think about insurance like it's a bucket. And you have to fill up that bucket before it helps you. So say like a deductible, for instance. You have a deductible. A deductible is how much the patient has to pay into that bucket and fill up that bucket before your insurance actually kicks in. So, and then your co-insurance is once that bucket is full and you've paid all that money into the bucket, which is your deductible, that is when your insurance starts helping you out. And it helps you out by paying 80%, you're responsible for 20, or 90%, you're responsible for $10. So it's like, try to keep that simple, because it can be confusing, especially when you come into out-of-pockets and trying to explain out-of-pockets, which of course the out-of-pocket is you have a $5,000 out-of-pocket. Once you have paid of your personal money that $5,000, then that's when your insurance kicks in 100% and your out-of-pocket's met, and you don't have to pay any more out-of-pocket. You don't have to spend any more of your money in that office. We try to keep it very simple when it comes to co-insurance. Now, y'all do what works best for your office. I started doing this years ago just by looking at the EOBs and kind of seeing what's coming in, and say that an insurance pays 90%, we're responsible for 10. I was kind of looking at the co-insurances and making like an even number instead of doing all the nickels and dimes. So with that being said, if y'all want to write this down, you can text me. I'll give you my number and email at the end of this. But so if we have a patient that it's 90-10, we do a $10 copay. Now, if I get an EOB back in the mail and the patient's only responsible for $8, well, shoot, I was overcharging the patient $2 a visit. So I would just back everything down to $8. And then I would just adjust. You can just readjust from there. It's just a good number to go off of when you're doing financials. And then like 80-20, I do $15. 70-30, I do $20. 60-40, I do $25. 50-50, I do $30. So we just kind of try to keep it simple. But like I said, when you get those EOBs in, you'll have to adjust that a little bit. For patients that have a hard time understanding insurance, we just let them know your deductible is like your personal out-of-pocket. It's kind of like the same with the fill in the bucket. It's the amount that you have to pay before your insurance helps you. And then the co-insurance is the part that you still pay after your deductible's met, but it's a smaller portion that you will pay. So I'm going to tell a story. I'll try to get through this quickly. We had a patient come in, and I know some of you have dealt with the same thing, but this is why it's so important to understand insurance and be able to deal with a patient that might be a little frustrated or upset about insurance things. So we had a patient that had come in. She was a new patient. Pretty sure she was hurting. You know, she is obviously having some issues. I don't know how to say this, but just not a very pleasant, nice person. I'll just start there. So she came in. She has 2 insurance companies, primary, secondary insurance. A lot of patients that have 2 insurances think that they don't pay anything out of pocket. They are fully covered. Well, unfortunately, that is not the case, and I know a lot of you know that. So she had Blue Cross and Blue Shields as a primary. She has Health Choice as a secondary. She has a deductible with her primary. She has a deductible with her secondary, which means she has to pay those deductibles before anything's met. Now, her secondary might pick up after her primary deductible's met. That's not always the case. So whenever she had come in, I did need to charge her for that first visit for the exam and x-rays, and I had explained it to her. She kind of argued that, no, I shouldn't have to pay anything out of pocket. I said, you know what? Okay, I understand. I understand what you're saying. And you just try not to argue with them. Let them know you're probably right, but we're going to look into this more, So I did go ahead and collect the first visit. And then she's talking about how she's had all this medical stuff done. There's no way her deductible's not met. It has to be met. And I was like, well, from verifying on availability, as of today, I am not showing anything is met yet. We do send our claims in a lot quicker than a lot of medical offices or hospitals. Sometimes it takes them 6 months to process their claims. So they will get our claims quicker. So I explained all of that to her. Kind of calmed her down a little bit. She went ahead and paid for her first visit. So now coming in for her ROF, I just let her know. I wrote up the financial, like she is responsible for that deductible, especially from the primary insurance. I'll just go off the primary insurance when going over these. So I went ahead and wrote out 32 visits, which I'm going to do some care plans for y'all, but I'm just going to go over this pretty quick. So I did the 32 visits at the 55, explained to her what it was. She just had a complete breakdown at the front desk. And I was like, listen, I'm still going to get your EOBs in. It takes me a couple weeks. We are going to go through this, And she was like, well, I just don't want to pay anything out of pocket. Okay, I understand that. And I let her wait till the EOBs came in. My EOBs did come in very quickly because they have been. I did not want there to be a scene caused up at the front. So I kind of calmed her down. I said, well, this is the worst case scenario. This is just in case if your insurance doesn't cover, this is what it's going to be. So about a week later, she comes in and she got her EOBs from the insurance company that was going towards her deductible. And she was so upset. And she was like, what am I going to be responsible for? I can't believe I'm having to pay my deductible again, and blah, 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 blah. And that is why it is so important to still go over a financial care plan, a worst case scenario one. So I printed it out. I showed it to her. I said, from your first visit, like what we had discussed, this is what it's going to be if your deductible's not met. She was like, I just can't afford this. There's no way I'm going to be able to do the treatments. I'm going to have to stop treatments. And I just looked at her and I said, Rhonda, I understand. I said, we're going to make this work for you. I said, just like I had said in the beginning, we will work this out financially. I know that the doctor does want to put you on the treatment plan to better your condition. You do have some things going on that we can help you, and I don't want the finances to be a reason you're not coming in. She completely calmed down. Something adjusted, and it could have been the way how calm I was with her, letting her know that we're going to make this work for you. She went ahead and got treated that day, and then came in the next day and let me know that I checked my health choice and my deductible. They finally sent my claims in and my deductible is met, and she was so excited, and I was like, okay, well, good. Well, then we're going to adjust this as soon as I get both in. It's all going to work out. It's going to be great. She broke down, thanked me for being so patient with her. She was so grateful that I actually took the time, like, away from my other patients, stepped aside and discussed everything with her. So it is just that the clarification of trying to get them to understand insurance, even when they're so upset and kind of like irate, you just really want to calm them down and just let them know, hey, listen, we're going to make this work. We're going to work this out for you. So if you come into a situation like that, the best thing is to be calm and just let the patients know, listen, you're right. I understand, but let's just kind of wait and see when everything comes in. Okay, so real quick, we're going to talk about financials. Patients really feed off of your confidence. If you hesitate going over their finances or their financials, they're going to hesitate. They're going to step back a little bit because they don't trust you. So talking money is often the most uncomfortable part of patient visits. This is the thing that they don't want to talk about. Your confidence actually comes from knowing your recommendations are in the patient's best interest. Everything we go over, everything we want to do, we want to make sure it is in the patient's best interest. It is important to believe in the value of their care plan and to believe in the ROF that your doctor had done with the patient, going over the x-rays. And then it just comes back on us, and then we have to believe that they need this. It doesn't matter how much it costs. This is exactly what you need, and we need to value that just as much as they're going to value their treatments. It is important, like if you're not familiar with the financials, start practicing with other staff members. Make them the patient, and then you're the front desk CA. Go over those financials together. Practice them so that they feel natural whenever you're going over them with patients. Confidence is not about being pushy. Just like when I had dealt with Rhonda, I was not pushy with her at all. I was very patient. She appreciated it, even though she was angry, trying to get angry. I felt like she was trying to make me angry, and you just you just can't let it get to you, because honestly, we don't know what's going on in her life. We don't know her finances. We just want to be there for her, and just be patient with them. It's about, so confidence, not about being pushy. It's about showing certainty that this plan is truly going to help them. The most important thing is, don't confuse the patient. Just try to be simple. Just make everything simple. Make the report of finances simple. Make it straightforward. Don't stumble on your words. Make it transparent. I am going to go over a few care plans with you. I know you can't see the care plans, so I'm just going to do, I got 5 minutes. I'm going to do a couple of them. So like, of course, a cash care plan is a pretty simple one. We put our patients, I never say numbers whenever I'm going over financials. I just kind of point at the numbers, and then, so when I say the numbers out loud to you guys, I never say numbers out loud, because we don't want the other patients listening to, because it's uncomfortable. So I try not to say amounts and the number, the treatment plan or whatever they're on out loud. I just kind of point. So I would just let them know, hey, Rhonda, I spoke with Dr. Young about the treatment plan. This is the number of visits he wants to see you, which is the 32. This is how much each visit is. So the number of visits he wants to see you, at that amount, $1,760 will be the amount of your full treatment plan. Now, if you pay in full, we will reduce that amount by 20%. So your total responsibility would be this instead of this. How do you want to take care of it? And if they kind of look at you and they're like, well, I said, now we can go ahead and put a card on file, and you can pay daily or weekly as you come in, or you can do the full and get that 20%. So I just keep it really simple. And it's the same, like if they have a deductible, we just do the 32 still at the 55, because 55 is our discounted cash rate. So just really try to keep your financials simple. And if you have not seen the ROF videos on the Foundation's page, go through those, the front desk CAs, what we say in the back. Like, I really have them detailed out on there. So just kind of watch those videos, because it really will help you. So this week, I just want to encourage everybody to try to focus more on an area where we can work on being more confident when discussing finances and insurance. And if you're continuing to struggle with that, do role play. We used to do so much role playing before I got super confident doing these, and now it's like I can just do them in my sleep. And whenever I'm training other CAs, they're like, oh my God, why have I not done this in the beginning? Like, this is so much more simplified, because we don't want to confuse the patients anymore. Because, and one thing is like those small changes that you make in your office and with your financials and discussing insurance, it makes the biggest difference. We have so much more time to focus on other things and actually the patients and their care than stressing out and worrying about insurance and discussing insurance with patients. So, I just want to let you guys know that the next team talk is going to be on, I'm going to keep them on Tuesday. So it's going to be on Tuesday, September the 23rd. I don't have a topic yet. I am super open to ideas or things that maybe your office is struggling with that y'all would like for me to elaborate more on. If you need some more clarification on something, I am open for ideas, and I am willing to listen and help you guys with those. And I would like to do it on here instead of like individually, because other people can be struggling with that too, but they just don't want to come out and say it, or they don't want their doctors to think that they're really struggling with something. So I can go over those here. So I'm going to give you my email real quick. It is Carissa, Karissa, at focusokc.com, or you can text me I don't mind getting y'all's text messages. It's great. Like I said, I got questions last week and answered them, but I'm always going to discuss them on here as well. But my phone number is 405-408-7137. So reach out to me. Any questions that you have. I know I'm kind of going over time a little bit, but financials and insurance, it is a lot to kind of put in 30 minutes, but I hope y'all did get quite a bit out of this, and I just want to thank you all so much for joining me again, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, y'all.